These are Stewie's top 10 most brutal kills that'll make you go, what the deuce? Coming in hot at number 10, we've got Stewie having a badass yet somehow hilariously absurd brawl with a kidnapper. Yes, you heard that right. A toddler packing a knife goes head to head with a grown-up and actually wins. Makes perfect sense in the world of Family Guy. But let's hit rewind and figure out how we ended up here. So, Meg tells her folks she's been working some odd jobs to save up for a trip to Paris. Peter, being the responsible father figure he is, says sure, if she agrees to deliver a super important letter for him. I mean, how important can it be?
What? Paris?
Hey, I have a pen pal in Paris. Would you mind bringing him this letter? We're fighting.
Fast forward to the whole family at the airport wishing Meg goodbye, and honestly, it's a miracle they even showed up. These are the Griffins. After all, my guess, they're probably just stoked to get rid of Meg for a while.
Be careful, sweetie, and call us as soon as the plane lands.
Okay, Mom, I will.
Now Meg touches down in Paris, and no joke, she meets the most stereotypical French dude ever. Seriously, I'm not even kidding.
This is so exciting!
Good day, foreigners. On behalf of the country of France, we surrender.
Soon enough, Meg finds herself kidnapped while chatting with Peter. And of course, Peter's advice on handling a kidnapping, utterly useless.
Meg, I need you to listen to me very carefully. Panic. Pay no attention to detail. Let your mind race. Take short, rapid breaths. Then hide under the bed, but leave 2 of your feet sticking out.
The FBI doesn't seem all that helpful either. You know, the professionals who should be looking for her. But hey, this is Family Guy, so what else would you expect?
Ma'am, the men who took your daughter are most likely members of a sophisticated network of human smugglers. If she's not found within 96 hours, chances are she's gone forever.
Then we've got to hurry.
Sorry, we can't begin our search until she's been missing for 96 hours.
In true buddy cop fashion, Brian and Stewie decide to take matters into their own hands. When the FBI's got nothing on you, who better to save the day than a talking dog and a homicidal infant?
Stewie, you and I have to take matters into our own hands.
What? What are you talking about?
Look, you're the only one who's got the know-how and the technology to help us track her down.
Stewie uses his credit card, which I'm not even going to bother asking if it's real, books them a flight to Paris. When they arrive, the show wastes no time reminding us they're in France.
Oh, I thought Paris would be a bit more picturesque. Instead, it's just traffic and some big guy using a jackhammer.
But monsieur, this is not a jackhammer, it is a jackhammer.
At Meg's apartment, Stewie and Brian investigate and find the guy who met Meg and her friend at the airport. When they end up finding him, the guy turns out to be a previous contestant from the American Ninja Warrior because damn, this guy has some moves. In his wallet, because every criminal keeps all their incriminating evidence right there, Stewie finds the address of the kidnapper's hideout. And now we're back to where things get interesting. Stewie, armed with a knife and a plan.
How are we gonna know for sure if these are the guys who took Meg?
Well, we have the kidnapper's voice on tape, remember?
Traqueur noir.
With that little bit of proof, Stewie goes full John Wick on the kidnappers, unleashing some serious violence. Meanwhile, Brian's just trying to figure out when he can eat.
What the hell are you doing?
We haven't eaten since the plane. I'm starving.
In a scene straight out of Home Alone, but way more violent, Stewie manages to fend off a grown man with a knife. Yes, a child is in hand-to-hand combat with a full-grown kidnapper, even attempting to cook the guy's face on a stove at one point. Maybe Stewie's watched a little too much Die Hard?
This girl.
The kidnapper eventually goes down, thanks to Stewie's superhuman strength, and he ends up drowning the guy in a sink. To top it off, the kidnapper spills the beans on where they keep the girls, and to be honest, it was not worth the fight. The place where they keep them could not have been more obvious.
We keep girls upstairs.
And that's how Stewie saved the day. Or at least, how he thought he did. The real takeaway? Stewie's always got a way to handle things, even if it involves some light murder. But that's not the end of Stewie's murder spree, as they find out Meg is going to be auctioned, and she clearly isn't a premium item.
This next girl is perfect for those of you who want to buy a but don't want to spend sex slave money.
Oh my god, Meg!
After killing the guard who caught them and going through a car chase where they killed yet another guy, we realize we should have kept a kill counter because Stewie does not hold back, especially when they're facing, as he quotes, Arabs.
What? I've never killed anybody before.
Relax, they're Arabs. People will still be rooting for you.
After Meg refuses to be his slave, the emir reveals he bought her not to be a slave, but to be his son's wife. The king introduces his teenage son Faisal, the young prince of the kingdom, who calls Meg a goddess and asks her to marry him. Or if she declines, he will have her flown back to America on their private jet. And right when things seem to finally be working out for Meg, this happens.
Oh, yes! Yes! No! Stewie?
Hi, Meg.
Yup, Stewie just straight up murders the only guy who ever showed interest in Meg and wipes her memory, saving her the pain of remembering the time she almost became a princess to a kingdom. At number 9 on Stewie's murder spree list, we've got our favorite evil genius, absolutely pumping some poor souls full of lead in the episode Saving Private Brian. I mean, just give this baby a suit and call him Toddler John Wick, folks. Seriously, Keanu better watch his back. So we kick off the chaos with a US Army ad because, you know, if it's from the US government, it must be top-tier freedom and McDonald's loving goodness.
What can the US Army do for you? The US Army. Oh yeah! Your experience may differ.
Back at the Griffin's dinner table, Chris drops the bomb that he wants to join the army. And of course, Lois being Lois, has some quality dinner advice. Yeah, just the kind of talk you want over mashed potatoes.
Besides, the army's weak. Now the Marines, those are the men you wanna
Fast forward to the next day, and Brian's driving Stewie to Jimboree for parachute day. But instead, they take a little detour to the recruitment office because, you know, who doesn't want to chew out an army recruiter over tricking Chris? Parenting done right. At the recruiter's office, it takes Stewie all of, 2 seconds before he's sold on the idea of joining the army.
Hey, is that the M9 double-action pistol?
Sure is. Standard issue in the Army.
Where do I sign?
Right here.
Like, all it takes is a shiny gun, and boom, he's in. This baby is a menace. But wait, there's more. Like a late-night infomercial, the recruiter's got one more trick to seal the deal.
Did I mention there's a $100 bonus if you sign up a buddy?
Really? Well, I think I have a surprise for somebody.
There you are.
Congratulations. You are both in the Army.
$100 and a trip to the Middle East. Where do I sign? I mean, who wouldn't want that sweet deal? Spoiler. Brian and Stewie clearly have no idea what they've signed up for. They're too busy being entertained by our very own budget vaudeville duo, Johnny and Vern. You know, the kind of guys that make you want to, well, maybe do what Stewie does next.
Okay, they're dead, all right? We're not going to be seeing them again.
And that's the last we'll ever see of Vern and Johnny, as evident from Stewie's badass delivery. But this scene just goes to show how unhinged Stewie can be when you mess with him when he's in a bad mood. Up next at number 8, we've got Stewie in full-blown evil mastermind mode. I mean, he's practically auditioning for the role of baby Hannibal Lecter here. Yes, in The Talented Mr. Stewie, our favorite one-year-old psycho tries, and almost succeeds, in killing his brother, Chris. Yeah, you heard me right. Stewie's not just aiming for world domination, he's gunning for sibling elimination. It all starts when Stewie gets some gold stars or whatever they hand out in kindergarten, and now this kid thinks he's the king of the world. And of course, this newfound confidence does wonders for his relationship with Rupert. Stewie and his teddy bear, Rupert, are in a relationship. Don't ask, just roll with it.
The point is, together, we are unstoppable. I'm going for 3 weeks, Rupert. Nobody's ever gotten busy bee 3 weeks in a row before, and with you by my side, I know I can do it.
But hold on to your seats because things take a dark turn. While rummaging through the attic, Brian and Stewie stumble upon an ancient, cursed family secret.
Oh God, this can't be happening. I thought Rupert was mine first, not some multi-generational family dong koozie.
Turns out, Rupert wasn't Stewie's first. Rupert used to belong to Chris. And brace yourself, even Peter might have had Rupert at some point. Ugh, the horror. After this bombshell, Stewie tries to keep it together, but things start going south fast. Rupert and Stewie decide to separate. Forget the movie Marriage Story. This is what it's all about.
I should get some sleep. I'm sorry.
Not winning the Busy Bee Award for the third week hits Stewie hard. So, in a very dramatic twist, Stewie hands Rupert back to his ex, Chris. And yeah, it's just as weird as it sounds. But we haven't even hit peak weird yet.
Well, I want you to have Skippy back. I know you're going to try and stop me, but hear me.
Okay.
Oh, great.
Feeling betrayed and abandoned, Stewie gives Rupert to Chris, who couldn't care less, by the way. Chris tries to replace Rupert with a stuffed giraffe, but surprise, it doesn't work out.
Whenever Chris and Rupert interact, 10 minutes later, I'll get a chime notification on my phone, and I can pull up the video.
Meanwhile, Stewie's low-key stalking his ex-bear via nanny cam. Yep, nothing says healthy relationship like hidden surveillance. Stewie's stalking escalates quickly, and before you know it, he's spiraling. Unable to cope, he decides the only logical solution is to kill both Rupert and Chris.
Hey, Chris, just checking to see how long before you and Rupert get here. Okay, see you soon, pal.
Classic Stewie logic. Why go to therapy when you can go on a murder spree, right? After a totally not creepy dinner convo, Stewie knocks Chris out with a frying pan and throws him in a rowboat. And somehow, this baby rows an unconscious teenager out to sea. I swear this kid has the strength of Superman when he's in murder mode. Halfway through this delightful boat ride, Stewie has a moment of self-reflection, like he's about to turn the boat around and save Chris. But then, Chris does the one thing you don't do. He picks a fight with a serial killer baby. What could go wrong?
This is exactly how it happened in the movie. How can you say this isn't like Hitchcock?
Cue one of the most brutal sibling fights in TV history. It's like WWE, but with more psychological trauma. Chris is literally choking Stewie out, while Stewie's smacking Chris with a boat paddle like they're in some twisted live-action version of Mortal Kombat.
This is from the talented Mr. Ripley. It's not a Hitchcock film, directed by Anthony Minghella.
But isn't it a remake
of a French film?
Chris almost recovers, but Stewie smacks him out again and dumps him overboard. Just when you think it's curtains for Chris, Stewie gets a notification from his nanny cam that changes everything.
Okay, Rupert, so remember, we sit through a nice dinner and then you go back with Stewie. Because I love my little brother and so do you. You guys belong together.
In a not-so-dramatic fashion, Stewie manages to rescue Chris. I mean, it's not really dramatic because we all know they're not killing off a main character like Chris. But still, it's Stewie, so you never know. Cut to the hospital, where recovering Chris wakes up, completely oblivious to the fact that his baby brother almost murdered him. And Stewie? Well, let's just say he's making sure Chris doesn't remember a thing. Because, let's face it, nobody wants to have Stewie gunning for them. Especially not after this.
Do you remember what happened?
No.
That's the right answer. Well, you have a lovely day, and we'll see you when you get home.
Okay, so Stewie doesn't finish the job, but let's be real. He came inches from offing his brother. The only reason Chris survives is because Stewie changes his mind last second. Even when Stewie spares someone, it's still brutal. Stewie spares. Coming in at number 7, we have one of Stewie's most gore-filled moments ever. That's right, the kid straight up murders Peter over, wait for it, a ribbon. Yeah, you heard me, a ribbon. Does nobody teach this kid about sharing in kindergarten? So here's how we got to this insanity. Peter gets dragged by Lois to be an audience member at some daytime TV show instead of staying home to enjoy, watching some corn. And no, not that type of corn. Though knowing Peter, it might be.
Besides, I couldn't leave you at home. Last time I did that, the kids walked in on you looking at internet corn.
It's gay corn. It was baby corn.
Oh, now I get it. This is why Lois never lets Peter out of her sight. Mystery solved. Anyway, they're at the show, and Trisha Takanawa is being interviewed about her new best-selling book, Throw It Away. And let's be real, this book sounds like the kind of ridiculous self-help garbage that would make Marie Kondo blush.
People nowadays own too much stuff. I am encouraging them to throw it away.
And just like that, every middle-aged white woman in the country is hooked. Another self-help book from an Asian woman. You'd think they'd learn, but nope, they're already headed to the checkout line.
I
I came up with it after hiking to the top of Mount Asia and meditating on Epiphany Bridge.
Oh, Peter, these are Asian techniques and they're new to me. I have to buy this book, read 2 chapters, then leave it on my nightstand for a year.
Lois does her thing, buys the book, probably doesn't even read it, and next thing you know, she's on a whole house decluttering spree. She's throwing out anything that doesn't spark joy. And let me tell you, Stewie is not having it.
She says that when you declutter your house, you declutter your mind and clear a path to true happiness.
About a clear path to dinner, bitch.
So Stewie starts sorting his own stuff, and he's definitely not letting go of his precious ribbons. You know, like the ones you get from wrapping presents? Yeah, those ribbons.
Oh, look, my box of ribbons I've saved from various presents. Oh, I'm not throwing that out. That's a good ribbon. This is a good ribbon, too. These are all very usable ribbons.
But then Peter, being the concerned dad he is, checks in on Stewie, and let's just say Stewie's reaction is, well, classic Stewie. The kind of reaction you'd expect from a kid who once tried to kill his brother over a teddy bear. And here it comes.
Hey, little guy, how's the sorting going?
I'm not getting rid of my ribbons.
The moment that solidifies Stewie as the physical embodiment of evil. Stewie whips out a crossbow, because of course he does, and with the precision of Hawkeye in the Avengers, he shoots Peter right in the eye, over a ribbon. That's right. He murders his own dad because nobody touches Stewie's ribbons. Peter's dead.
I just wanted to know if I could borrow a ribbon. Oh.
But in true Family Guy fashion, he's back on his feet in the next scene like nothing happened. Because apparently, getting shot in the eye is just a minor inconvenience. But this whole scene really showcases just how unhinged Stewie can get. The stakes here are as high as ribbons, people. That's right, if it's important to him, Stewie will take you out, no questions asked. And that's why this brutal kill makes it onto our list. Stewie, crossbows, death, and ribbons. A winning combo. At number 6, we've got one of those classic Family Guy anthology episodes where Stewie and Chris take on their roles in the classic tale of Mice and Men. And it does not end well for one of them. If you guessed Chris, well, ding ding ding, we have a winner. So how did we get here? It all starts with Peter somehow trapped inside a rich guy's library. Is he there because he appreciates classic literature? Nope. He drove his car into the house and is waiting for the cops to show up. But instead of, finding a way out, Peter does the last thing anyone would expect.
Anyway, I've got some time to kill before this room is filled with tear gas, so I thought, why not finally read some of the classics I never read in high school?
Yeah, he can actually read. That's right, Peter is tackling the classics, by choice. And just like that, we're transported to California during the Great Depression, where 2 brothers, Stewie, George, and Chris, Lenny, are hitchhiking their way to a ranch in search of a job. It's of Mice and Men, but with a Family Guy twist. And Chris, as usual, is a few fries short of a happy meal.
Wow. I remember when this used to be all Orange Grove.
It's currently all Orange Grove.
The 2 brothers arrive at a ranch where they meet Peter, playing Slim. And no, that's not a description of his body type. It's just his character's name. Peter's got some questions for the brothers, and let's just say letting Chris do the talking was not the best move.
Good, good. And how about you? Tell me about yourself.
I like to kill animals and then a lady.
I got a good feeling about you guys.
After watching Chris take out Puppy Brian rest in peace, we meet the bad guy of the story, played by none other than Glenn Quagmire. How do we know he's the bad guy? Well...
As you can tell by the well, he's the bad guy.
Classic villain intro, folks. And to make things even weirder, Quagmire's wife in this story is Meg, and she flirts with Chris, which, let's be real, is creepy on so many levels. But hey, this is Family Guy, so we're just gonna roll with it. Anyway, Meg asks Chris to, destroy her. Yikes. And Chris, well, let's just say he does more than that.
I want you to destroy me.
Okay.
Okay, Chris may have gone a little overboard there, snapping every bone in her body like he's auditioning for Mortal Kombat. But hey, she asked for it, right? Meanwhile, Stewie gets the signal that it's time to meet at the big tree on the edge of town. The emergency plan if things go south. Which, spoiler alert, they have.
All right, evidently I have to go to the big tree on the edge of town to take care of something. This shouldn't take too long.
Stewie's not too happy about having to pause his villainous plans, but when duty calls, at the big tree, Stewie tells Chris to look away and count the stars while he sweet talks him about the rabbits. If you know the original story, You already know where this is headed, and it's not toward a happy ending.
All right, so the B&B will have a rack of single-gear bikes for every guest. And yes, next to that, of course, is going to be the big giant rabbit hutch. Bye-bye, Lenny.
Yep, Stewie just casually shoots Chris in the back of the head. No emotions, no hesitation. It's like something out of Silence of the Lambs, but with a toddler and a gun. This is Stewie at his coldest, folks. Stone cold killer with zero remorse, and all we can do is sit back and marvel at how this baby is unstoppable. What's worse than one Brian? How about two Brians? That's exactly what we get in the episode The Man with Two Brians, where the Griffins decide they need another dog, and Stewie, well, let's just say he's not thrilled. And if you've been paying attention, you know Stewie's the type who doesn't deal well with competition, especially when it's as annoying as new Brian. The episode kicks off with Peter and the guys watching Jackass on TV. Naturally, they decide the best course of action is to recreate the stunts at home, because nothing screams good idea like spine-shattering stunts.
I'm Peter Griffin, and this is Shopping Cart Roof Shopping Cart, guys. Okay, go! Ow, 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 oh my God!
Oh my God, are you okay?
But this is only the warm-up. Next, Peter tries to jump over a lake, despite Brian being the voice of reason. Like, did Brian really think Peter was going to listen? Spoiler, Peter hugs a tree midair, lands in the lake, and starts drowning. Brian rushes to save him, but ends up hurting his back trying to drag hippo-sized Peter out of the water. And what was Joe doing this whole time? Probably taking his sweet time. After Lois chews out Peter for being an idiot and warns that Brian's getting old, we get this gem of a conversation.
Why are you making such a big deal out of this, Lois? I was just a little tired.
Yeah, well, that's how it begins, Brian. Then the next thing you know, I'm making Peter dig a hole in the yard and you're in a pillowcase.
Worried that Brian's days are numbered, Peter comes up with the most logical solution: bring in new Brian. And new Brian is an instant hit with the family.
Hey, gang, whose leg do you have to hump to get a hug around here?
Oh, I like him.
Even Brian starts to warm up to the new guy, but Stewie? Nah, Stewie knows better. And he drops the cold, hard truth on Brian.
Well, I wasn't sure about this new dog thing at first, but I gotta tell you, he's a really terrific guy.
You poor damn fool.
What?
You have no idea what's going on here. He's not just a delightful new friend for the family. He's your replacement.
That's right. New Brian is here to take Brian's place, and the Griffins are all in. Brian, feeling like a total outcast, starts picking up on the hints. Like when Peter offers to take him out into the woods with a gun. Yeah, that's not suspicious at all.
So what if there's a new dog? Lots of families have two dogs.
Hey, Brian, I thought maybe we could spend the afternoon together.
Really? That'd be great.
Awesome, because I got this new gun.
Here we go.
And I thought we could go deep in the woods where no one would ever think to look.
Meanwhile, new Brian's constant cheerfulness starts driving Stewie up the wall. Stewie pleads for Brian to come back, but Brian's not having it. New Brian's got everyone under his spell. And then things take a dark turn when Stewie confronts new Brian about his terrible humping habits.
No, we don't. We don't like your cooking, your stupid karaoke nights, and we especially don't like the way you hump that chair in the den.
That's when new Brian makes the fatal mistake of confessing something he should have kept to himself. He humped Rupert. You can see the moment new Brian seals his fate.
Well, Rupert seems to like my humping.
What did you say?
Rupert. Humped him for 2 hours yesterday. He just laid there and took it.
Did he?
Yeah.
Cue Stewie's death stare. You know new Brian's done for. Next thing we see is Stewie dragging a bloody trash bag, and we all know what's inside. R.I.P. New Brian. We don't need to see the carnage to know what Stewie did. When it comes to Rupert, Stewie will stop at nothing. And that's why this kill deserves its spot on our list of Stewie's most savage moments. At number 4, we've got a truly insane episode, Mr. and Mrs. Stewie, where our favorite evil baby finds his match in the form of Penelope, a girl who's just as twisted as he is. What happens when two criminally insane babies team up? Absolute chaos. And murder, of course. So this episode starts with Stewie and Brian attending a book reading. Let's hope it's not one of those Dr. Seuss readings, though let's be honest, those books are way too tame for anyone who watches Mr. Beast videos all day.
When the drugs stopped numbing the pain, the sex became even more violent.
It doesn't rhyme.
The new stuff doesn't rhyme.
Classic non-rhyming poetry, am I right? Anyway, the book reading gets canceled. Probably for the best. And while Brian manages to score a date with a college girl, yep, you read that right, Stewie's asking the real questions.
Is this what your parents are paying all that tuition for? So you can
dogs.
Yeah, Brian's really living his best life here. As payback for keeping him out all night, Brian takes Stewie to the park, where Stewie meets his future partner in crime, Penelope. And boy, does she make a first impression.
Isn't that the little boy who pushed you?
Yes.
You there. Would you like a piece of candy?
Don't push.
What's going on in Quahog? How do they keep churning out these psycho babies? Penelope isn't your regular Barbie playing kid. She's got a weapons room, complete with nukes, and a level of crazy that Stewie instantly falls for. I mean, who wouldn't?
But what are these formulas for?
For these.
Oh my god, you've got a weapons room too?
Penelope has only been on screen for 5 minutes, and she's already killed someone in cold blood. Stewie's in love. Turns out she cut someone's head off in the bath, and Stewie's been dreaming of doing that since season 1. Yeah, this relationship is moving fast, and with that...
No, she died. She was taking a tub and somebody came in and cut her head off.
Wait a moment. Did you kill her?
Well, I held the knife and her hair.
Oh my god! I've been dreaming about doing that for years, and you've actually gone ahead and done it! Penelope, I've never said this to anyone before, but I feel like I may have finally found, in you, my one true soulmate.
The evil duo sets out to do naughty things, or, as we like to call it, mass murder. Their first target? Mort, poor guy. His prized possession is his wallet, and that's exactly what they use to blow him to smithereens.
All right, I made a wallet bomb and I planted it on Mort. As soon as he opens it, boom!
But since it's Mort, and we all know he's tighter than Scrooge with his money, they have to improvise. Instead of opening his wallet, he holds onto it like it's the last cent in the world. So they change tactics, and this time it works.
How do you go 2 weeks without opening your wallet?
Yeah, he's been out to dinner like 4 times.
We're clearly not going to get him this way.
I know, which is why I just planted another bomb that's set to go off every time he burps into his hand.
Oh, I better make sure my wallet's okay.
But that's not even the end of their evil antics. These two maniacs go on a killing spree that makes you wonder if there's any such thing as law enforcement in Quahog. And no, Joe in his wheelchair doesn't count as rapid response. They even managed to start a nuclear war, all with a single note. But hey, if it's between Pakistan and India, all it takes is a letter, right?
We blew up the Great Wall of China, bombed the Eiffel Tower, and look at this note I sent off. Dear Pakistan,
up yours. Love, India.
Let's see what happens.
They did not need much.
And there you have it, folks. When Stewie meets Penelope, the body count skyrockets. This kill duo could take over the world if they don't kill each other first. At number 3, we've got a wild ride through time and space with Stewie's evil twin, Bertram, in the episode Big Bang Theory. Now, how anyone can be more evil than Stewie is both confusing and terrifying. But here we are, strap in, because this one's got more twists than Interstellar, but with fewer black holes and way more evil baby antics. So, it all starts with Stewie discovering that he can mess with Brian's life by using his time machine. Why he hasn't gone full villain and wiped out all of humanity yet is a question we all ask ourselves daily.
This is silly fun. I can go back in time and change anything in Brian's life.
Because what could be better than ruining your dog's life, right? But things get messy real quick when Stewie plans to sabotage one of Brian's dates with a Victoria's Secret model. Yeah, Brian really reached for the stars with that one. Of course, Brian finds out and they both end up fighting over the time machine. Naturally, they launch themselves into some weird space-time limbo where the laws of physics do not apply, and they're basically floating around like they're stuck in a bad dream sequence.
Non-existence. No past, no future, no universe. But still somehow a large, brightly colored promo for the Cleveland show.
Hey y'all, it's the Cleveland show!
After a plot more confusing than Christopher Nolan on a Red Bull binge, Stewie realizes that he's got to take out Bertram, his evil twin, from the past. That's all the backstory I'm giving you because any more and your brain might just short circuit.
Bertram didn't know that by removing me from history, I wouldn't be there to be accidentally thrown outside the universe and subsequently created. So the universe never existed. Well, we have to stop him.
So now we're heading way back to the Renaissance in Venice, Italy. Somewhere in the 1400s or 1500s. Who cares, really? Stewie finds out that the one and only Leonardo da Vinci is his ancestor. I mean, of course he is. Makes perfect sense, right? And since Bertram and Stewie share DNA through Peter, Bertram's trying to erase Stewie from existence without erasing himself. Classic evil twin plot.
That must be Leonardo da Vinci. Stewie, he looks just like you. Da Vinci must be my ancestor.
Then we get a Family Guy version of Top Gun as they chase each other through the skies on Da Vinci's flying contraptions, or whatever you call them. Bertram's got some serious aim though, because he knocks Stewie down to the ground like he's playing in the NFL. At this point, it's looking like curtains for Stewie. Or, you know, not. Because Family Guy doesn't hold back. Bertram ends up with a giant arrow sticking out of his head, and that's all she wrote for Stewie's evil twin. This episode wraps up with Stewie once again proving that he's the baddest baby on the block, taking out his twin in a dramatic fashion. And as for the ending, I'll let Brian sum it up for you.
Wow, that was dramatic.
Coming in at number 2 is one of the darkest moments in Family Guy history. And considering how far this show goes, that's saying something. Picture this. Stewie and Brian dressed as Santa Claus, tasked with delivering presents to 1 billion people in one night. What could possibly go wrong? Everything. Welcome to the episode Road to the North Pole, where things go south real fast. The episode kicks off with Brian and Stewie heading to the North Pole to kill Santa Claus. Yep, you heard that right. But when they get there, it looks more like the Third World Pole. Santa's workshop? A nightmare.
I don't even pray for them anymore. Seems pointless. What god would allow this?
This is in none of the songs or poetry. It's a horror show up here.
Santa's too sick to deliver presents, so guess what? Brian and Stewie decide to take the job. And yeah, that goes wrong immediately. They haven't even made it down one chimney when disaster strikes.
Okay, let's get the presents under the tree.
All right, you have them?
I thought you had them.
Oh, for the love of God, they're still in a sleigh.
Oh, crap, on the roof?
No, it's in the yard.
Brian, being a dog, starts acting like one, obviously. He opens a bag of chips, which wakes up the homeowner. And, shocker, the guy doesn't believe that a kid and a talking dog dressed as Santa with a broken window are there to deliver presents.
Hey, who the hell are you?
Hello?
What are you doing in my house?
We're Santa Claus.
Yeah, you're Santa Claus. That's why you broke in through the window. I'm calling the cops.
Brian tries to talk his way out of this, but Stewie's got other plans. And trust me, they're not what you'd expect from Santa's little helper.
It's kind of a funny story. What the hell did you do?
They drag the guy into a closet, but here's the kicker. He's not even dead. So Stewie does what Stewie does best.
Dude, he's still alive. All right, tie him up.
Fast forward, and a little girl walks in on them. We're all holding our breath, hoping Stewie doesn't kill her too. And thank God he doesn't. But not before he whacks the mom right in front of her. Seriously, can someone check killing a kid's mom and dad in front of them off the most messed up moments in Family Guy bingo card? Because this scene is as dark as it gets.
Oh my God!
Oh, crap.
Quick, Stewie, get the bat!
Help! Help!
And just to twist the knife even further, they realize they've been in the wrong house the entire time.
Do you have a brother? Well, then who the hell is John? Oh my God, we're in the wrong house.
And that, folks, is why this scene ranks number 2 on our list. Brian and Stewie's chaotic, disastrous Santa act goes horribly wrong, and it's dark. And here we are, folks, coming in hot at number 1 with one of Stewie's wildest and eeriest kills yet. This one feels way too familiar, like the Titan submersible accident familiar. That's right, Family Guy may have actually predicted some recent billionaire shenanigans with its episode Wolf of Wall Street. The story kicks off with Brian, who's so broke that he crashes his car into his own housekeeper's ride, and then, like the scumbag he is, straight up runs away. Classy move, Brian. Real classy.
Don't get so angry. Just tell your insurance what happened, and then they'll, oh, you're driving away because you don't have insurance.
This sucks.
While Brian's busy being a walking disaster, Stewie's already told him he's now a stockbroker. Yeah, somehow a child is out here investing in the market, like he's the Wolf of Wall Street. No big deal, right? Stewie, being the entrepreneurial toddler he is, offers to help Brian out by investing some cash for him. And of course, Brian jumps right on that idea because, hey, what could go wrong with letting a baby handle your life savings?
Tell you what, give me $100 to put in the stock market, and I'll take care of it.
The market?
Brian, you won't lose your money, I promise.
Soon enough, Stewie's back with wads of cash, and Brian's eyes practically turn into cartoon dollar signs. I mean, who wouldn't want in on this? Even I'd be tempted if I saw a baby rolling in cash. So, next thing you know, Brian's living the high roller life as a stock market hotshot. And wait a minute, now we've got a dog making money off stocks? Somebody call Elon. We've got a new Dogecoin situation going on here.
What are you up to?
Are you kidding? I've been looking at stocks all morning. I'm already up 5% on the day.
Wow, good for you. You're really taking to this. I wish I'd brought you in on this earlier. Together, we're going to make a fortune.
Of course, Brian tells himself he's going to stay grounded. He's not just in it for the money. He's going to give half of his earnings to charity. Spoiler alert. That plan lasts about 5 seconds.
I'm not some run-of-the-mill Wall Street scumbag only in this for the profits. For every dollar I make, one goes to me and one goes to charity.
I'm going to rent a Ferrari and cruise the pier. You want in?
Well, cancer's not going anywhere.
And then comes the moment that pushes this episode over the edge, literally. Now that Stewie and Brian are filthy rich, they decide to pull off the ultimate billionaire prank, pantsing James Cameron while he's exploring the Titanic at 20,000 feet. Yeah, they're diving down into the depths, Titan sub-style, and it does not end well for them, or James Cameron, for that matter.
Now that we're eccentric rich guys, we're going to go down 20,000 feet and pants James Cameron while he's excavating the Titanic.
Down in the abyss, they find James Cameron, and things are about to get awkward. Instead of just pantsing the guy, Stewie and Brian's brilliant plan spirals out of control. And let's just say James won't be making any more Avatar sequels anytime soon. Okay, we gotta admit, the show overdid it with the sharks. But hey, realism points. And when you've got Stewie in full-on panic mode, you know things have gone too far. This whole underwater disaster is gruesome enough to shake even Stewie, and that's saying something for a baby who's literally killed people without blinking. That's why this episode takes the #1 spot on our list. It's not just about the kill, it's about the pure chaos and the insane, over-the-top death trap these two get themselves into. Just remember, if Stewie's involved, nobody's safe.